Hi Pisces, welcome to your October 2018 Tarology 33 reading. We have a Celtic cross spread on the table, normally a 10 card spread, but he got an extra card in a position at the present, and in the hopes or fears position. Then as always, we have an oracle card that we'll read at the end to help tie everything together. The first thing that came to mind to me before we move on, referring to that oracle card, is I was shuffling for a long time, and the card that came out is actually the exact same oracle card that Scorpio got when I did their reading. So some of you are dealing with a Scorpio, you might want to check out their reading as well. Or if you have a Scorpio placement, such as your moon or rising sign, you definitely might want to check out that reading too. See if it helps shed more light on what's going on for you this month. But let's go through these cards one by one. Starting with the main situation, we have the Page of Swords. So this is actually, to me, a card that refers to communication, but not necessarily the deepest communication. So, it could just be surface level communication. You do have the Eight of Wands in the foundation position as well. So this could just be saying that this is a very communicative month for you. If you look at the way that they're standing, it looks like it's a little bit of a guarded stance too, so maybe that's why the communication's not so deep, because they might be hesitant to really speak their mind, or if it's you might be the one who's a little bit hesitant to really speak your mind. So that's sometimes what it can be too. It's not necessarily that it's deceptive communication, especially not when it's in the upright. It could just be, a guarded communication of some kind. And in the challenge position, we have the Ace of Pentacles. So this communication could be referring a new start, and maybe there's a holdup with that new start. Maybe there's reluctance to start something new, right? When I look at the aces versus the pages, I see them more as an idea rather than something tangible. So this could be an offer down the line, for example, for a new financial beginning, or just a stable beginning in general. It doesn't always have to be finances, but that is what we first think of with pentacles. So maybe someone, is making some kind of offer to you. Maybe they're telling you, hey, I have this new project coming up in December, would you be interested in it? And you might be a little hesitant to accept it because you're like, okay, well, is this really going to happen, or what's going on, In the foundation position, we have the Eight of Wands. So again, this is another card that points to a lot of communication for me. It could just be that you're taking on a lot this month. This could be travel, for example, communication, could be working on a bunch of projects, it could be group communications. These days we think of something like a group chat, for example. Maybe there's a group of people trying to start some new financial beginning. Let's say maybe just some mundane examples. Maybe someone asks you if you want to move in with them, right? Hey, would you want to split bills with me? Something along those lines. And maybe you're a little hesitant to accept it. In the past position, we have the Page of Cups. So this is usually something that points to a love offer that might have been made in the past. What I always point out with that is you see the fish coming out of the cup, and like I always say, would you want to drink out of that cup? So maybe someone made you a love offer in the past that you didn't necessarily trust. It didn't seem like it had a lot of substance to you, so maybe you were reluctant to accept it. Or maybe even if you were the one who made the offer, maybe you made an offer to someone. Could have just been like surface level flirting. Again, going back to, if you look at the stance of the Page of Swords, maybe you've been flirting with someone back and forth, but you're not sure if you could trust, okay, are they serious about this, or are they just fooling around, or vice versa. If you've been the one who's been a bit flirtatious, maybe the person you've been flirting with is a little bit reluctant to accept it. But with the Page energies and the Eight of Wands here, more than anything, I'm getting the feeling that you just have a lot going on. And maybe none of it is too solidified. Maybe you just have a lot of things going on at once, for example. In the present position, we have two cards. You have the Knight of Wands. Try to get it to focus. And you have the Five of Pentacles. So, to me, the Knight of Wands usually represents the card for Sagittarius. So some of you could have been dealing with a Sagittarius who had you feeling left out in the cold. Again, maybe they were the person who made you the offer in the past, and you were reluctant to accept it, or they made an offer, and that's why you're feeling on guard right now, because they made that offer in the past, and maybe they're coming back around, and you remember that they left you feeling left out in the cold. This could just be referring to you as well. Maybe you're taking on that Sagittarius energy. This could be referring to travel, for example. Sagittarians are well known. They like to travel because the reason I think of that is it looks like you have the pyramids in the background there. And that's not the first place you would think of, being with a horse with full armor, you know what I mean? So Sagittarians are known to get around and mix in other cultures. So that could be the energy you're taking on. And maybe you have been doing that lately, for example, and now you're just stuck with all the bills for it, for example. Maybe you went a little overboard with the travel, for example. Could just be saying that you want to travel. If you did go through a situation where you were getting a love offer you weren't sure about, and you're still a little reluctant to move forward with it. You want to travel, but you can't because your finances are a bit tight right now. That's another way that it could go. The reason that I'm thinking now that this could be either someone in the past made an offer to you and they're coming back and you're not sure if you can trust it, or vice versa. If you made the offer and they're not sure they could trust it, is because we have the Six of Cups at the bottom of the deck. So usually that can refer to someone coming back from the past. And we also are going to have Venus in retrograde this month in October, and that'll actually be in Scorpio, which for you, that's your ninth house. So that could be what this is referring to, pointing to the Venus energy going on in that house. So maybe you're revisiting something from the past, so that would be someone made you an offer in the past, you weren't sure you could accept it, they come back around, so you're still reluctant to accept it because, the last time they came around, they left you feeling like this. Maybe they're trying to make you an offer, but you're not sure if that's, actually legit or not. So you're just on guard there. In the near future position, we have another Sagittarius card, and that's Temperance. So Temperance is the major arcana card for Sagittarius. So again, this could be pointing to a Sagittarius that you're dealing with. Absolutely. Sagittarius is also your 10th house. So this could all be related to career as well. Maybe a career offer is coming back around and you're still not sure because maybe you felt burned by that offer in the past. This could just be referring to you trying to restore balance as well. Because again, if you went through that Five of Pentacles energy, whether that be finances, trying to get your finances back in order, if it was a relationship, trying to regain your balance from the heartbreak there, that's another way it could go. And that's something too, sometimes with Venus retrograde, if something didn't end in the best way, sometimes you can reconcile during a Venus retrograde if it's someone from the past, or even just get closure from it. So if that's what you're looking for, maybe that's what you're going to be getting with the Temperance coming up in the near future. In the present, in your influence on the situation, we have the Sun card in reverse. So let's look at the card in the upright. To me, when you get this card in reverse, this could be pointing to depression. That's one thing that comes to mind. If not depression, actual burnout, So going back to what we were saying here, it looks like there's a lot of activity going on, whether it be communication or actual movement. So you might have just burned yourself out. That could be what's going on there. Maybe with the Five of Pentacles energy, you could just be physically sick, for example. So maybe you're just low on energy if it's not actual depression. But yeah, definitely low on energy in some way, shape, or form, because depression could also lead to that as well. And then that could be why you're attempting to regain your balance this month. So with the Temperance card there, I mean, everything here is in the upright for the most part. So the way I look at that is you have the support around you in the environment to get yourself turned around. But you have to be open to that as well. So something to keep in mind there. Um, Whether it's just going to the doctor if you are sick, rather than pushing forward, or if you have too many things going on right now with the Eight of Wands and feeling like you're overwhelmed, maybe reaching out to someone to see if they can help you out some. That's just some mundane ways that could be playing out. All right. In the position of the environment's influence on the situation, we have the Knight of Pentacles. So this is actually the minor arcana card for Virgo for me. So you could be dealing with a Virgo. Virgo is your seventh house, so this could just be pointing to a relationship offer. Usually with this in the environment, it would be someone making the offer to you. And another way you could look at it as well is maybe at the Ace of Pentacles, it was an idea that was being kicked around with the Page of Swords and Eight of Wands. Maybe you guys have been talking about potentially doing something, and maybe this could be a totally different person, but maybe you had someone in the past that reminds you of this. Given that there are two Knight cards, maybe they remind you of them in some way, and you realize, hey, in the past, being in that situation, I got burned, so you're waiting for something more tangible from them before moving forward. If that's the case, it looks like you would get that, thinking about going from the Ace to the Knight. So if that's what you're looking for, that does look like a good sign there. Keep in mind, though, what I always say when it comes to the Knights. If you look at this Knight here, right, look at the way the horse looks, and the background looks like there's movement compared to this Knight. Looks like the horse is moving very slow, if at all, right? So this is definitely a slower moving energy than this energy. So maybe, you're dealing with a Sagittarius energy who feels has you feeling left out in the cold, and maybe you're hoping for something more stable, and that's what the Knight of Pentacles represents. Something to keep in mind there. In the hopes or fears position, we have the Seven of Cups and the Seven of Wands. So I would say this is probably a mixture of hopes and fears. You might fear that you won't be able to make a clear decision, right? If you look at the artwork there, looks like there's a lot of decisions on the table, and this person's in the dark. So, that could symbolize, you're in the dark about which of these would be the right choice, right? Maybe I can see clearly what's going on here, and I know, okay, I don't know if I'd want to, take these cups, but if you're in the dark, you might not see it. So, and then the Seven of Wands would be more of a hope, I would feel, which would be getting the upper hand in a competition or standing up for yourself, for example. That's usually what I think of when I get the Seven of Wands. And then in the outcome position, we have the Nine of Pentacles. So this is a pretty good outcome card to get. This is actually a Virgo card as well. It represents 10 to 20 degrees of Virgo for me. Let's see. This could just be saying that you're enjoying being single. So maybe you have a bunch of offers and you decide, you know what? Like these could be different people, for example. If it's love offers and you're deciding for the time being you're just going to enjoy your singlehood and your independence and not choose anyone right now. That's one way it could play out. Or if this was finances, looks like your finances going from the Five of Pentacles we have there to the Nine of Pentacles. Looks like you're getting some kind of boost financially. So that's another way that could play out as well. But overall, it could just be saying that you're embracing that more earthly energy as well. So whether it's tied to relationships or not, it's just a receptive energy to me. You know, the person looks like they're very at peace, right? They have the bird there on their hand and just out and enjoying environment. So that could be what it's saying too. Let's say maybe if you have been feeling sick and cooped up at home, maybe you're getting out and about now to help yourself feel better. That could be another way that that's going to help you restore your balance. Just some things that come to mind there. And we'll look at the Oracle card now. Like we said, it's a leg up. And that's actually the same card Scorpio had too, like I said. So if you're dealing with a Scorpio or have a Scorpio placement in your chart, might want to check out that reading as well. There's the artwork for it. It's not focusing. And then the number is 34, if that has any significance for you. Let's read the message. Okay, it says receiving help, delegating authority, interdependence. The Oracle's message. You've come to a point where going it alone is no longer optimal for you. Life has a way of presenting you with the perfect people to align with who can give you a leg up during this next phase of your journey. Help comes to you in all the areas of your life where you need a boost. The trick is to accept that aid so freely given. When you embrace interdependence, allowing teamwork and independence to commingle, miracles happen. Now is such a time. So maybe that's what it's saying too. Maybe these are people that are in some way, shape, or form are trying to help you because they see that you're in that Five of Pentacles stage and maybe you're reluctant to accept it. That could be where the sun in reverse is coming into play. You know, sometimes the sun could be seen as ego to an extent too. So that could just be saying that you're letting your ego get the better of you when it's in reverse and, you know, refusing the help that's available to you. But it does seem like it's out there. So if you do need help, you know, try not to be shy and try to accept it. And that could be what the Six of Cups is referring to as well. You know, someone extending an olive branch to you. I sometimes see this as the being the bigger person card too. So maybe if you've been on the outs with someone for a while, but you do want to reconnect, then maybe it's saying that the environment will support you actually reconnecting with them. Or it could mean someone comes back to you. Could go either way. All right. And the relationship message says relationships that are healthy thrive on interdependence. It's important to recognize that you need others as much as they need you. You must allow people to support you just as you were there for them. This is a time to be vulnerable, to speak up about your needs, and to ask for them to be fulfilled. Trust. You will be met with kindness and love. Don't expect others to read your mind, though. Ask and it is given. So, the don't expect others to read your mind part just makes me think of the Page of Swords. Like I said, I always, when I see this card, the stance of this person always stands out to me. You know, they don't seem very confident in their position, right? So, you know, one foot in, one foot out is the way I think of it. If you look at their stance, you know, they're kind of saying what they want, but not really saying what they want, right? And maybe that's where the confusion's coming in. So maybe this is just saying that you need to be vulnerable and really speak about what you need, whether you're in a relationship and you feel like, you know, maybe you're feeling out in the cold because you feel the other person's maybe taking on more of this energy where they're in and out. They're not really, you know, putting in as much of an effort. You know, they're more like this when you want them to be more like the Knight of Pentacles, more stable, more steady. So maybe you need to communicate that this is how you're feeling and, you know, and confidently express it. And maybe that's where the temperance in the near future comes into play, saying that once you speak about it, the balance can be restored. And then you're finally feeling, you know, content at the end of the month as opposed to the sun in reverse. All right, and the prosperity message, if this is financially related for you, says now is the perfect time to seek advice from a mentor or business advisor who has been where you want to go to help you get there too. If you do, you will receive very good counsel that will aid in your prosperity. It may also be the case that your endeavors have grown and you are in a position where you can't just do it all yourself anymore. Time to bring on those who can give you a leg up. Trusted help is available and it will indeed appear. Delegate authority to others so you can take steps towards your big dream. The perfect people will arrive at the perfect time so long as you step forward with just a mustard seed of faith. So maybe this is what this is saying too. Maybe that Page of Swords, for example, if it is career related, maybe that's you interviewing people, right? But maybe you're not sure. Do I really have the money, right? Do I have the money to hire people to help me? Maybe that's what you're thinking about. Um, and then maybe if that's the case, you could apply for a loan potentially, and then that'll alleviate some of the pressure that you're feeling there. Because, if it's that the business is there, but you're wearing yourself out to where you're the sun in reverse, then that could cause difficulties too. And I think last month, your message, the title for your reading last month was Take a Leap of Faith. I don't remember exactly what the context was there, but, maybe it's a matter of you need to invest more in your business and then you'll see the results from it. So something to think about there. Like I said, Venus will be retrograde this month, so most people think of love right away when they hear Venus retrograde, but Venus is also tied to finances, so maybe that's a time for you to review, okay, can I invest more money and hire people? Or is there some kind of way that I could streamline my business? Maybe you hire someone to redesign a website, for example, so it functions better for you. There's plenty of ways it could play out. But that's all the messages I'm getting for now, so we'll wrap up there, and I'll talk to you all next month. Bye.